and welcome everyone to a brand new action-packed, exciting episode of Non-Apologetic News. For those who don't know us, I am Travisty. Next to me is Body Bag. We are Non-Apologetic News. First up in the news, a handcuffed Oklahoma man escapes arrest on a stolen ATV. He leads police on a high-speed chase. He was handcuffed. An Oklahoma man being arrested on Tuesday managed to escape police and steal an ATV before leading officers on a high-speed chase through multiple counties while still being handcuffed. Police in Edmond spotted the fleeing suspect on the ATV speeding past the stop sign in Edmond and cutting through parking lots to the train tracks on the other side. The Edmond Police Department told Fox News via email. Now, for those who don't know, Edmond is located just north of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now, a second officer spotted the man run another stop sign and speed past businesses in the area. The suspect cut through fields and wooded areas before entering the jurisdiction of Oklahoma City. After several miles, he drove the ATV back to Edmond. So we have a handcuffed man on an ATV, and he's just making a fucking circle, right? I don't know what the thought is. Now, as police pursued the suspect, they learned he had just escaped from the Jones Police Department and was riding a stolen ATV while handcuffed. The chase continued into Logan County, where police forced the suspect to wipe out in a pool of muddy water along a dirt road. The suspect then surrendered to the police without further incident. He was initially being taken into custody on suspicion of stealing copper wire and catalytic converters. I don't know where to start with this one. Now, I can't look at his face. We have to move that because that is distracting. I think even though he was handcuffed, I saw videos of this. So he's handcuffed in the front. I have no idea why, but he's handcuffed in the front. So he's got his throttle and he's churning his shit and he is doing a good job. Like, it looked like he was actually just driving the thing, right? I think he could have got away from police, especially being in a little bit of a rural area. He was going in and out of the city, in and out of back roads, right? I just don't get it. I know plenty of people who run from the police on ATVs, and I don't know a single one of them who got caught. When we were younger, I knew a guy, a good friend of mine. He's in the pen now. I'm not going to say your name, but if you're listening, salute. But he would steal ATVs, four-wheelers, and he would store them in the garage at the house I was staying at, right? Him and his buddy would come and get them in the middle of the day and just right down the middle. You can't ride them on, at least not in Missouri, on city roads. Yeah. So they just go right down the middle of Joplin. Just fucking hauling balls. So police get behind them. They run, they get away every time. They just go where the cop cars can't, right? We don't have helicopters and stuff, so that's probably a little bit easier here. There was one time I went to see them on like a Friday night. They were just hanging out, right? And it was at a hotel. So around the back of the hotel where they kept the trash was like a privacy fence. So he had pulled the four-wheeler into the privacy fence, and I think he had paid the clerk not to say anything. So he's like, let's go for a ride. I was like, all right, screw it. So we're going down on a back road, and I don't want to like hold on to him like he's my lady, you know? So it had one of them gratings on the back to strap like luggage to. So I'm holding on to those just, you know, with my hands, and we're going through and dirt. So he winds up going on 32nd Street. And this is like prime time. So for those who don't know, in Joplin, 32nd Street is one of the busiest, if not the busiest street in Joplin. And this was prime time weekend evening. So we're going right down, no lights on or nothing. It's nighttime. So he's going straight on into a 18-wheeler. You know, we're a good distance apart. We're probably like a mile apart to start. It's, you know, straight road. It's like past range line towards like the highways, like the 249 and stuff. So we're headed towards it, and he's screaming. He's like, they'll move. And I'm like, you move. So the guy spots us because he hits his brights on. He starts hitting his horn or however that works, making a big scene. And the guy who was in the front, he was like, dude, he'll move. He never moved. So we had to skirt it off into the road. I guess it would have been to the right. And we go through the ditch and we're just fucking just hitting it hard. And I'm just trying to hold on for dear life. And he's like, hey, they called the police. I know they called the police. So he's zigging and zagging through various like fields, like down by John Q. Hammond's and stuff. We wind up making it back to the hotel. He kills the engine. We push it into the little privacy fence area, and we go up into the hotel, which was several floors up, and we watched police as they zipped all around, no doubt looking for some assholes on a four-wheeler riding down the middle of the road. So all I'm trying to say is that if he did it, you could do it. And really, we would have liked to have saw you get away, guy. We really would. It would have been a better story. So what we're trying to say is when you get out, we would love to see you try again. Because us here at
Non-Apologetic News,
we're all about second chances, and we believe in you, buddy. What's next?
All right. Here we got a story from TikTok. A 12-year-old boy from Oklahoma is the latest child to die after taking part in they call a blackout challenge, which has been circulating all over TikTok, apparently. I don't know. I don't use TikTok.
Nope.
But it's apparently highly dangerous. Doctors have warned it cause seizures and death. Apparently, what you do is you hold your breath or you choke yourself until you lose consciousness. And, on Monday, the police were called to an apartment complex in the state where the boy, who has not been named, was reportedly found with ligature marks on his neck. Detectives were told by the family members that the incident was not an attempt at suicide, but at the blackout challenge. Well,
You didn't do this when you were a kid?
no, not at all.
You didn't? We used to do this. At least I don't know what this is. I don't fucking TikTok. But you would take your hands like this around someone's Adam's apple, and you put your back flat against the wall, right? And then your buddy would hold like that until you passed out. And then he would like make sure you didn't fall on anything. And then when you got up, you had like this fuzzy, high, disoriented feeling for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I never, no.
We did that when we were junior high or so. It was fun. Okay, go ahead, buddy.
Sounds like it. It's just... I'm not gonna. I feel sorry for the kid. Lost his life and shit, but
so he's dead.
Yeah, it killed him.
Yeah, that is a crying shame, and I guess we hope the parents are doing all right. Well, Apparently we have a bit of a TikTok edition going on today, because my next story is also gonna talk about idiots on TikTok. So this is a little bit less, makes me want to fucking cry. Thanks for that. This is a different type of story. So what this is bad news for TikTokers. Is that what they're called?
I think so.
Bad news for TikTokers and idiots everywhere, as TikTok moves to ban the milk crate challenge videos citing safety concerns. Are you familiar with this one?
I have heard about it. I haven't watched any of them.
People attempt to, okay, here's what they do. Your typical milk crates, right? My understanding is they build a pyramid, okay? So it's going to be, you're going to have one milk crate, then your next step up is going to be 2 milk crates, then 3, then 4, then 5. So your goal is to be able to walk your ass all the way up to the center one, which is 6 high. Not supported on left or right. It's just 6 high. And then walk your ass on down without falling. Okay? What inevitably happens is people just get fucking shit whipped. Okay? So what they say is TikTok has now blocked this. So if you were to go search the hashtag milk crate challenge, I've never searched for a hashtag. If you were to search for this right now, you will find no results. Whereas about a week ago or so, you would have found somewhere in there of like 100,000 results. So this was like a real deal. Now, for those who have been living under a rock or a crate, the past few weeks, people make a milk crate pyramid and attempt to walk on it successfully to complete the so-called challenge. It rarely ends well. Now, I don't. Where the fuck do they get milk crates? Okay, so you got 1, 2, stack of 3, stack of 4, stack of 5, stack of 6, stack of 5, stack of 4, stack of 3. That's a lot of fucking milk crates. Where are you getting them, guys? So what I've done, because I had a feeling that you wouldn't know what this was, we have a bit of a video here, okay? And as you can see from the still that we're looking at right here, I don't think it's going to end well for this particular gentleman. He might be a lady's. Jeans are pretty small. Now, I haven't seen this particular video, but I've seen other compilations that I'm sure it will show a lot of the same. But yeah, I would like you to enjoy this right here. Let's have a look at what this young man does with the challenge. Oh, he actually made it. That actually wasn't a bad job. Okay, this guy is on a bicycle. You see, he's got, that wasn't too bad, but yeah, he got just ragdolled. And this lady has, has decided that they're going to go 9 tall. Boom, road. Okay, now we're outside a club. Where are they getting the crates? Boom.
Oh,
That's
shit.
on the head. That's a shit whipping. That's a proper shit whipping. What the hell?
Fuck.
Okay, this is church. This is prison. This is prison. Okay, so you got the guy on the top, and he's all the way out, and he doesn't know what to do. That guy down there looks like he's about to make this worse on him. You think he's going to make this one? He goes down, no, boom!
What the fuck just happened there?
Sure what that was. That was a guy on a cord, like being... Okay, this guy's taking his time. You got to take your time. Okay, he looks intelligent. The guy back there with the phone looks like he didn't make it past 2nd grade in the jersey, but... Okay, he might make it. Look at him. He's like, I'm going to take it slow. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Nope. It's going to be douche.
Oh.
Right on the ribs.
Fuck.
Yeah. So this is the milk crate challenge. And for obvious reasons is why they want to go ahead and ban it. They don't want to be liable for whatever may or may not happen. So I don't really know what else to say. If your child is doing the milk crate challenge, I don't think you should be mad at your child. You should be mad at yourself. What's up?
All right. A teenage driver in Massachusetts last week swerved to avoid hitting a squirrel before crashing into a historic home built by ancestor of President Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So instead of a squirrel crashing this little animal that didn't cost a dime, he goes ahead and swerves and takes down this fucking valuable antique house.
But wait, were the ancestors of President Lincoln, like, do they fucking matter to us?
I don't know. I think it's probably just because it's got his name slapped on it. So
yeah, I don't know. Good. So what's more valuable then? Is it the ancestral home, which by the way could mean a lot of things? Was that his cousin's sister's baby mama's crib? You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? Was that his great granddad? Was he also a great man? If so, I do apologize. But I barely know shit about Lincoln. I damn sure don't know about his family. And I like animals. But on the other hand, I fucking hate squirrels.
Yeah, fuck them squirrels.
Do you know that all the wiring they do for like your vehicles now, all the electrical wiring, they coat with a peanut oil? It's supposed to stop it from like corrosion or something like that. So what winds up happening to people who live in the woods like me is if you're going to have something that's parked for a while, you got to have your hood up. It'll discourage the squirrels because they'll go in there and they'll wreak havoc on your wiring and just fuck everything up. So wait, did he hit the squirrel?
No, he did not. The squirrel survived. The house did not. The cottage was constructed in 1650.
That's a pretty old house.
That is. It was a 19-year-old driver in his 2014 Audi Q7 when she swerved to hit this. Yeah, it would have been me. Yeah, fuck that squirrel. He's a pancake.
I believe so. Now, see, my niece just got her license. Probably hasn't even been a month ago, and she just had her first rite of passage. She had her first wreck. Oh. She was pulling into I think it was the high school, and she just didn't stop and just hit a
into
person.
something?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was all fine. It wasn't like it was just like a tap or whatever.
Like another car or like
Another car. It was
okay.
like another school. I think it was like I don't know. It was another child. I think and no one was harmed or anything. But that's sort of a rite of passage. Like I told her the first week I had a license, I flipped my truck.
Jesus.
I did it slow though. I was up at this the cemetery up the road here.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how I lost control. I'm sure I do if I thought about it, but I don't know. I lost control. That's all we need to know. And I went into the ditch. And when I did, I guess I decided to ride it out because it was a pickup and go up into the field. And these people had these weird fence posts, and it caught underneath into my gas tank. So as I went up the hill, it just slowly rolled me over. And then the truck's upside down. It's spurring gasoline. And then the police were trying to search it when they came, but they only had jurisdiction on one side of the road. It was a weird county thing. So yeah, they were pretty upset when I did not allow them to search. We don't let them search, we don't consent. So fuck you. All right. Does that about wrap this one up?
Yeah.
That is fantastic. You know what time it is?
What time is it?
Time for a review. Could be old products or they could be brand new. All the red tape we're about to cut through. And if it sucks dick, yeah, we're gonna tell you.
All right. So, obviously, review here. And instead of doing the typical tangible product, I'd like to review something I just recently played back through. Now, for those who don't know, which is more or less everyone, because we haven't talked about it, we are big gamers, PlayStation gamers. We grew up on stuff like Resident Evil and God of War and Metal Gear Solid, None of that Call of Duty bullshit. Now, so I recently replayed through the remake for Resident Evil 2, right? For those who don't know, Resident Evil is your classic survival horror. So the original game came out on, I believe it was the original PlayStation in 98. Now, even if you don't like survival horror, which is being real careful with your item management. So you're going to have limited ammo, you're going to have limited health, you're going to have all sorts of stuff like that. Even if you're not into that type of stuff, which means you don't know how to play, I guess, if you're a gamer and don't like those. But even if you're not into that, you can't deny how beautiful this remake is. It isn't just like they just slapped an HD graphics on it. They actually rebuilt it from the ground up for PS4, but I mean, it looks like a PS5 game. It's freaking beautiful. It plays great. Now you can play as one of two people, essentially both. You have Leon, who is a rookie police officer, and then you have Claire, and Claire's searching for her brother, who was entangled in the previous stories. This, I believe, excuse me, it takes place about 2 months in the timeline after the first game. Right, so it's essentially all tied in. Now, the city's taken over by, we'll just call them creatures, you can call them zombies, but it's all sorts of just whacked out shit, right? And I love survival horror. That's my favorite genre. I want to be playing the game and get the shit scared out of me. That's what I enjoy. Now, you have to fight your way out, essentially, to not bore you with a big, thick storyline. It's basically the same as most Resident Evils. You got to make your way out, get to the bottom of who's doing this, and try to stop them. Now, I thought this was great. Okay, so you start in a dilapidated police station, and like I say, you can play as either character. And the characters have two different campaigns, meaning if you play as Leon, then once you beat his and you go back and play as Claire, it'll actually be different. I mean, there's stuff that's the same, but it's essentially different. So they take place in two different spaces. So it's like Leon's is the first, really, Claire's the second, so she comes after him in the series of events. This was just like any other survival horror done really good, except for one fucking irritating element. Do you know what that was?
Mr. X.
Mr. fucking X. What did you think of Mr. X?
Oh, I thought he was a dick.
Why don't you tell him what Mr. X is first?
He's a, what do they call it? Tyrant.
Tyrant, yeah.
Yeah. Big bastard. And once you get to a certain area of the game, he just chases you throughout the whole fucking place. just nonstop.
Yeah, if you so much as like you can lose them for a little bit, but if you so much as make a noise, if you run, if you fire your weapon off, this thing comes at you and you can't kill him.
No.
So when you're talking about a game that's like a slow exploration kind of stuff, it's really hard to do when you got like an 8-foot fucking big dick energy guy fucking chasing you down and just stomping on you, you know? And like I say, you can't hurt him. I thought it was cool when he'd pop up in certain areas, like in the prison cells.
Yeah.
You have to avoid him, but then it comes to a climax real quick. However, they throw him into a certain part of the game where you got to fuck with this dude for like, if you don't know where he's going to pop up at the first time, you could have to deal with him for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think it kind of ruins the experience.
It did.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, it's still a great fucking game, but like if it has one downfall, it's that.
I have to admit, though, that when I played through it this last time, I actually looked up what triggers him during the first run, and it's a certain hallway. So I made sure to stay away from that so that I only had to deal with him for a minimal amount of time. Because that is just nonsense. There's that part where you have to use those jacks and move
the library.
The library things, right? So my first playthrough, I didn't know that you could get rid of them. I didn't know that you could run all the way to one end and run back, and it takes them a while and whatever. So I would just try to avoid him in the library. So I'm trying to jack this thing up. He's dumping on me. I run to the other end. He runs. I run back, do like a quarter jack, run back. It was exhausting to get up there to the 3rd floor or whatever. But, I mean, it's got great boss fights. It's got some awesome stuff. It's got a real good ending. Like I say, the 2 stories are great. I don't have much bad to say about it. However, like I say, the woman comes after the dude, at least the way I played it. So some of the boss fights are exactly the same. Same scenario, same place, same thing, which they wouldn't be if it was 2 people following each other through a certain series of events. Like there's one where you take this crane. It's this big. It's like the main enemy of the the game. It's fucking Henry or something. He's got this big pulsating eye on his shoulder. Yeah, whatever. It's crazy. But you swing this crane around and you get him to stand in a certain spot. And after doing that so many times, it knocks him off. He falls down into this deep pit. So essentially, if you're doing that as Leon, when you come back as Claire, you shouldn't do the same boss fight. You should like have a boss fight down in the pit with the second person, you know? So that was the only thing that really took me out of it, but it had great puzzles, like that one to open up that, it was like chess pieces, and you had to align them to open that safe door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a motherfucker. It would be like, the queen is next to the jack, but not next to the pawn, but catty corner from your fucking mom. And you had to, like, it was really just a guessing game, but you had like 6 or 8 pieces, and it was pretty crazy. I think the game's great, though. So if you're someone who doesn't really dabble in, I mean, if you play survival horror, you know this game. You played this game. Come on, get out of here. But if you don't play survival horror and it's something you'd like to get into, this is a great game to do it. It plays very well, and it is beautiful. It sounds great. If you throw on a pair of headphones, or if you have like big surround with bass, it's going to beat the shit out of you, you know? And you're going to be jumping out of your chair when a licker comes out of nowhere and slacks you across the chest with that big-ass tongue, you know? I never made it through this when we were kids. This was the only one I didn't make it through. Was 2.
Really?
When those creatures came, the green ones, looked like big goblin things.
Yeah.
I couldn't get past it. Like I was too young, too stupid. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I was probably like 10 years old or something.
I got to that. I think the only one I haven't got through was the Code Veronica.
You didn't make it through Code Veronica?
No, I did not.
Oh, that was my shit back in the day.
I think that's the only one I haven't made it through.
I replayed that just a couple years ago, actually. Yeah, no, I thought that was great, actually.
See, that's when they're putting out remakes and shit, and they're talking about doing 4. 4, I mean, it'd be cool. It doesn't really fucking need it.
It doesn't need it.
That one, Code Veronica, would be a good one for them to remake.
Yeah, so you've never made it all the way through Code Veronica.
I got through the first half of Claire, and I remember who you play as, the second half the guy.
I don't know. All the characters are interchangeable, if we're being honest. But Nah, it's great. Like, there's this huge boss fight with this mutated plant. But there's, like, secret Resident Evil ways that if you figure out, I won't spoil anything for you, but there's certain things you can do to avoid and, like, kill the thing beforehand. Like, it's a fucking awesome game, dude. Code Veronica was my shit back in the day. Now, 2 was the one that was dual disc, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, see, I had a memory of it, and apparently after playing through the remake, it's not the way it is, that you revisited, I guess it was the police station. I thought it was a mansion, and that's when those green bastards popped up. You revisit something, and then that's when I couldn't figure it out no more. But I failed to find any of that in my replay. This is the second time I replayed this. See, I played it when it came out a couple years ago, and then, I played through it, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I think, if I had to give it anything, as far as the score, we're going to say out of 10, I'd say this is a solid 8. And I'll tell you why in a moment. What would you say?
I'd give it a 9.
That was an inappropriate sound effect because he is exactly right. That's a pretty good score. Now, what would be a takeaway of why it would not get a perfect score for you?
Like I said earlier, the main thing, the Mr. X bullshit.
Yeah, it really did fuck it up. If I remember right, in the original one, they just he just popped up and you had like a choice and you could avoid him or something. Anywho, the reason I say it's not a 10 is simply the amount of time. I think it's like a 15-hour playthrough or so, and that is just not long enough when you're paying full price for a game, which nowadays, if people don't know, it's like $70, and if you're paying $60, $70, I think you should get more content than that. But speaking of time, we are out of it. So we would like to say goodbye to everyone. If you enjoy what we do, go ahead and hit a like below, subscribe, so you get the notification when we do this again next week and every week after that. So we would like to thank y'all for stopping by. And everybody, have a good evening. Don't watch the news.
Non-apologetic.